For those of you who are new to our podcast, welcome. Appreciate you. All of you on Twitch, how's it going? You can give us a shout out in the chat if you would like. I've chatted twice recently. Once was a mistake. So there you go. Going well today on Twitch. People, we're going to be talking about Death Race 2000. So now here's how this goes. This is a drinking game. So the gimmick is we drink every time we say something negative about a film. So now we've been recording for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. And now here we are. We are going to be talking about a film that we know was not praised. We know it has some...
It was not.
We know it has some feedback that was not positive. And now here we are. We have some drinks. I have two.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong? It's Herbie Goes Bananas with butts and bombs.
It's
Herbie goes so much.
You go with Herbie?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. All right.
Because they sped that car up too.
Hold on. So here's the pitch for the movie. This is IMDb. This is Death Race 2000. 1975, Death Race 2000. In a dystopian future, I'm going to go ahead and say somewhere around the year 2000, from 1975's point of view, a cross-country automobile race, get this, requires contestants to run down innocent pedestrians to gain points that are tallied based on each's kill's brutality. The longer version is, in the year 2000, against the backdrop of social turmoil, political unrest, and rampant anarchy, a now totalitarian United States of America, sound familiar, supports a
20 years ahead of their time.
A now totalitarian United States of America supports a brutal annual event to pacify the masses, a la the Hunger Games. The infamous transcontinental road race, scoring points simply by running over unsuspecting pedestrians. The national champion driver, Frankenstein, played by David Carradine of Kill Bill fame, has to race against fast contestants such as the beautiful cowgirl Calamity Jane, the neo-Nazi Matilda the Hun, the Roman gladiator Nero the Hero, and, first and foremost, the Chicago thug and ambitious challenger, Machine Gun Joe, played by Sylvester Stallone the year before Rocky. Who will score the most points in the Violent Death Race 2000? So this is the year before Rocky. So when everybody sits there and says, Sylvester Stallone was just an unknown actor. And no, he was in this movie. He was pretending to be an unknown actor because he did not want to be known for this movie. That's how he got Rocky's script produced. He was John, you can't call, you can't.
No, he can. He can.
Fuck, he can. That's the setup. So there's two things going on. You want to race to the front, but there are checkpoints. So it's timed, kind of like the Tour de France, where they have stages. So you want to be the fastest driver, and you also want to kill the most amount of people. Sort of what it is, right? Because they like have they have group massages.
Ironically, don't they blame the French by the end of the movie for the state of the world? Yeah.
We're definitely going to talk about that. Well, they do it because they apparently are pro-Nazis in this movie, which is very offensive, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah. So it's basically you want to be the fastest, you want to kill the most, and then you get additional points for kills, such as senior citizens get more points, teenagers get more points. It's totally fucked up. It's ridiculous. But then again, if you like the Hunger Games and think this is offensive, you should just go to sleep tonight and just think about that. Oh, Rue died, but she had to for the Hunger Games. This movie sounds fucked up. No, you need to sit back and think for a second. Anyway, who wants to go first?
I want to start by saying that I watched a double feature this morning for this podcast, immediately back to back, of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest into Death Race 2000.
Are you okay?
And I felt like I was McMurray, like watching the second thing. Look, to its credit, McMurphy. To its credit,
I forget his name wrong.
You're right.
We've called him three different things during the course of this.
Death Race 2000 knows what it is. I will give it that. I feel like
we are
they
a positive
understood.
film criticism podcast. Good job, John. You nailed it.
They know what it is. I think this is a Roger Corman production. Like, they knew exactly the satire, the low production value. They knew what they were doing. I don't think their expectations were any higher than the reception they received. I think that's why it's probably aged a little better than you think it has. A 6.2 rating on IMDb is not that bad.
Show some respect. This spawned a 6-film franchise. Like, why wasn't this in our face-off?
6 films.
Yes.
I mean, it's just so ridiculous. Now, I felt bad for every woman in this movie. Like, this is one of those times where, like, I argue this all the time. I am the voice on this podcast who is the loudest, like, no, time capsule. We can't be too judgmental about those things. This was tough for me to watch. The sexploitation in this movie was very offensive to me. Yeah. Even though they knew what it was.
Let's give women positions of power, but also they're naked.
And then show them naked. Yeah. Like every single female character in here, except for that great grandmother who led the resistance, was naked multiple times for no reason other than obligatory sex scenes intermittently placed in this movie to break up the race at the pit stops.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought, because there was even a way. That's the thing that let me down the most was that I don't think they handled that with the same satire that they handled the rest of the movie.
I don't know.
Actually, like,
I don't know. He's got he's got the woman there, and he's like, I'm dancing, and then I take my gimp outfit off, and now I'm dancing in my undies. And you know, there was a little bit of humor in it.
I was okay with that scene.
I'm glad that he went on to star in season 1 of American Horror Story.
The dancing was silly. The second time when she was just, where they just literally pulled back just to show her naked from behind, laying on the bed, I was like, I don't know. There were a few things like that where I was like,
that was totally exploitive. Yeah, that
was extremely exploitive. And then they cut to another angle of her that like still showed her hips in a certain way. It's like, I don't know. It was starting to get a little softcore porny, and I wasn't laughing in those scenes the way I was laughing the other times. It felt like they were trying to sell some tickets with the sex, not sell the tickets with the absurdity of it all, and use sex as part of the absurdity. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to concentrate on that.
Like every other
there's way more going on in this movie.
In the 70s.
Yeah. You're right. What I would say to this is, if you liked Ford versus Ferrari, and you also liked swastikas, this movie is definitely for you.
I mean, how fucking prescient.
Jesus.
Prescient, however you say that word. Portent, whatever. How, isn't that crazy? No. They're governing from Moscow?
Yeah, I mean, like,
nothing is more.
The people who write this, are they fucking time travelers?
Nothing is more prescient than we watched this movie on the same app, and they were advertising Fox News during this fucking movie, which was celebrating a neo-Nazi talking about the master race with swastikas, and then it literally cuts to commercial, and it talks about the Fox Nation's Patriot of the Year. Are you fucking kidding me? Which by the way,
which was on the day before.
Already happened. So they are advertising. They are literally just advertising patriotism in America and Fox News
I'm just gonna go out on a limb.
Offensive film. It is fucking absurd.
Fuck
I know
you,
I said a joke that probably was not in kind, but think about it. Like, this movie has swastikas all over it. Advertisers should be running for the fucking hills, and Fox Nation is like, let's talk about Patriots of the Year. Who are the best Patriots? This is the time to have that discussion. You've got the cowgirl, Matilda the Hun. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's it.
I'll tell you the opening wide shot where they come in, they show the stadium, and they're showing the races, and then it cuts to a fucking wide shot, and it's a stadium with a cartoon drawing in the background of a futuristic city, and it just made me laugh out loud in the fucking bad way.
That was just so classic Corman. Every single interior scene was like, what empty retro office building did they take over to film scenes? There's that one moment where it's at the second pit stop, and it's supposed to be like a gathering. There's a band playing, or at least there's live music, and there's supposed to be some like people there dancing, and there's like 6 people. It was just classic. The low production value was just fucking
also when
great.
they send the girl to find him, like to find Frankenstein. By the way, if you're going to call your character Frankenstein, I expect him to be bigger.
Are you talking about penis size, or are you talking about human size?
Well, they only showed the naked women, really. So
that's right.
He did.
There were some male butts, by the way.
Wasn't that the lead into the first sex when she said, "What else did they replace?" And he's like, "Give me a minute and I'll show you."
Yes, it was.
So stupid.
But like,
do we know Title Tiki, by the way? Is Title Tiki a friend of the pod that we know?
Yes.
Tiki sounds familiar there. Title Tiki is send a laugh into our chat. So shout out to Title Tiki.
Also, there's one scene where Frankenstein is he's totally in costume, so he's wearing his black gimp outfit with his black cape.
This is David Carradine.
And he senses someone coming, so he presses himself up against a white wall. Who the fuck you hiding from, bro?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, and I know we're just making fun of it now. This is terrible, but that fight scene. I'm never gonna forget that fight scene. That
was the Stallone fight scene.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was incredible. They were like
Stallone and Frankenstein. So
we don't have enough
Stallone
money.
And David Carradine.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have enough money to cover this well. Let's pull all the way back to the corner of this giant warehouse and just show them from a distance for 2/3 of it. Oh my God, it was just so hilarious. The masking, it was so far, the hits were so off. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. I liked that. I thought it was hilarious.
Let me provide a little bit of context about what's going on for everybody. So the race starts in New York, and all of a sudden they say they exit the Lincoln Tunnel, and they're in New Jersey. And I'm from New Jersey, and I promise you that is not New Jersey in 25 years. There is green grass.
It's not going the other way.
There are mountains. Yeah. It's lush. I was like, where are the swamps and the oil refineries? I'm from New Jersey. What the fuck? They are clearly in California. So the location scout failed this movie for sure. Can you buzz the location scout for this fucking movie? Okay, but I don't mind that though. Okay, so the cars are meant to kill. They're out of the Lincoln Tunnel, and it's this beautiful landscape on the other side of the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah,
like, are you out of your goddamn mind?
Southern California.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? Also, okay, so to provide context, so the cars are designed to kill because they're ramming machines. And I don't know if you knew this about the fact that 30,000 people die a year in car crashes. Apparently, you need to make it more dangerous than that. So Frankenstein has like claws. Killer Joe, who's Stallone, literally has a cannon on his. It's literally a fucking cannon. Oh, the teeth. Sorry, the Frankenstein teeth. So these cars are hideous. They also have navigators, as if they needed navigators in 25 years. It's just an excuse to get hot women in like the navigator's seat, if you will. But then they're just driving around in these cars, going across country to hit these checkpoints, and they're just looking for people to kill. Why is there a construction site in operation in New Jersey on the day of this race? If this race was happening in real life, I'd be hiding in a basement.
No, because there's always a fucking construction site in Jersey.
Doing construction in the middle of the route. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so what ends up happening, because we know this movie's offensive, and the caricatures. So there's like the cowgirl, and all the fans in the stadium are like wearing cowgirl outfits and hats and stuff. So anyway, they're all caricatures, but there's a resistance because this has to be the last time. This is literally the Hunger Games. There's no way that I think it's Suzanne Collins did not know this. Suzanne Collins, Therese, is it Suzanne Collins, the author of Hunger Games? There's no way that they didn't know this, because there's a resistance and it's on the inside. But because everything is filmed live, which by the way, flaw, Frankenstein takes his mask off, but they see every crash. So how do they not see his fucking face? And that it's not actually scarred if they see all the crashes. Flaw in the movie. Anyway, so they
found the flaw. You found the
flaw.
It.
You found it.
Wait, hold on.
Sounding a lot like negativity.
What makes it okay is that the ultimate goal of this is that the person who wants to win gets a handshake with the president at the end of this. You get a handshake with the authoritarian president. And the winner, one of the winners out of the 5, actually doesn't want to win. They actually want to cause. They want to kill the president. But I'm not going to tell you which out of the 5 it is. But they might want that. And there's the resistance.
But one of the person who does has a hand grenade, and it's a hand grenade
awesome.
Brought to you by the most fucking literal props department in the fucking world.
It's so great. It's like built into a glove.
So good. Yeah.
Therese says yes. Suzanne Collins. Thank you, Therese. Okay, great. So anyway, the resistance is trying to kill the drivers because they think this is a ruthless game like the Hunger Games. And so the press, the media who loves the event, just like the Hunger Games, and they make a lot of their money off of advertising and glorifying this event, just like the Hunger Games, claims that the resistance that is very clearly trying to kill people and everybody knows something is going on is the French in the American Commonwealth.
The French.
And
I knew it.
Wait. The quote they say here. Are you ready? Wait, this is so good. Where is it?
Quote.
The French. The French have
Jeff.
crippled. Damn it. Hold on. The announcer on TV has said the French have crippled our race, our economy, and our telephone. What the fuck are they talking about? The French have crippled the telephone?
The French bought AT&T.
Anyway,
what happened?
Like they hacked the telephones.
They pretend that the resistance trying to kill everybody in the race and therefore kill the president. They claim that is the French. Yeah.
Wow.
Because again, the German, they love the Germans.
I mean,
which is why Fox News is advertising this fucking movie. Jesus Christ, Rupert Murdoch.
It's really
Save
funny.
us.
It's like I mean, let's just take a look at the script for a sec, because I don't want to say that this is written in the most predictable fucking way ever. But my wife was quoting it, and she's never seen the film.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're in for. I'm going to go to bat for it, though, because you brought up Hunger Games, and I was thinking about this while I was watching it. I haven't seen all of the Hunger Games, but I think I've seen 2 or 3 of them. How many are there? 4? 5?
Yeah, there's 4 books they made into 5 movies.
5, yeah.
Okay, so I think I've seen the first 3.
Wait, I just lied to you. There's 3 books that they made into 4 movies. I mixed it up with Twilight. I know that's something I do very often, is mix up Twilight and Hunger Games. 3 books, 4 movies.
That's for you, Jeff.
Thank you, Dave. God damn it. What I
Catching
struggled
Fires
with,
2, Mockingjay Part 1, Part 2.
what I appreciated about Death Race 2000, it always frustrated me a little bit with the Hunger Games, the movies at least, I haven't read the books, was that there was an absurdity in the entire world over how they felt about the way the media was covering this dystopian existence, and especially these races. I always felt like there was a weird dichotomy that didn't work for me in the Hunger Games movies, where like everything that was happening to the people was told in a very realistic, grounded, dramatic style. And then you had people like Elizabeth Banks's character that were completely absurd. It never made sense to me. So to Death Race 2000's point here, I don't know. I feel like it actually worked a little bit better for me just because it was in line. The whole movie was absurd. So I wasn't supposed to have to figure out what would it feel like to live at this time when some people are living normally and some people are like this news anchor. I appreciated that it was cohesive. The whole world was absurdly different than our world is now. It's not like, can you imagine if this happened? It's like, no, this is fucking ridiculous.
Yes.
Of course the news is like that. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Therese wants me to drink again for mixing up Twilight and the Hunger Games.
No,
John,
we
you're
buzzed him for that.
Right.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be satire. It is. Yes. They are aware about that, and I think you're right. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, the role of Frankenstein I read in the IMDb trivia was originally offered to Peter Fonda, who considered the movie too ridiculous for words, and I am firmly on Team Fonda. It's ridiculous.
Dave, how could you not be?
Dave, go. Let me get you to dive into the gimmick. What was your favorite part of the movie? Your absolute favorite part of this movie?
My favorite part of the movie is the fact that it almost had a Thelma and Louise ending.
Almost. You're right.
And I don't feel like it would have suffered for it. It might have redeemed the film.
John, what was your favorite part of this movie?
The fight scene, for sure. That was just...
Oh, yeah.
I'm never going to forget that. That was Rocky. Sly Stallone. He knew what movie he was in, dude. He was good in this. I know we're making fun of it.
I mean, he was, but also...
He was doing his job. That is how you take it very seriously. You play it as though it's ridiculously sincere. Like he did not. I thought he was better in this than I thought he was going to be. I was like, what the fuck is Sylvester Stallone doing in this movie?
This movie was the most basic, like, trite script writing, because you're like, okay, well, how do we make it look like it's a dystopian future? Let's put Nazi symbols everywhere. Okay, how do we make him look like an asshole? Let's make him beat up women. It's like, there's no fucking subtext here. They're ramming all this shit down your throat, and it just, it's...
Right?
Yeah, fuck
writers writers, it's about the humor in the future. The humor is so bad in this movie. One of my favorite lines is Sylvester Stallone's, where he talks about I guess it must be his navigator. Some people think you're cute. I think you're one very big baked potato. Fuck does that mean?
He owned it, though. He owned it.
Yeah, no, he owned it.
How did he deliver that with such sincerity?
No, you know what my favorite part of this movie is? When Sylvester Stallone shows up and they're like, Killer Joe! And he shows up with a cannon on his car, and he's in, so there's a stadium for people. So picture like the Talladega Stadium. He shows up, and he gets up, and he has a real Depression-era machine gun.
Shoots into the
and he just starts shooting.
And nobody dies.
Into the crowd, dude. He shoots at the audience. I mean, like a Tommy gun. He pulls
It's so ridiculous.
A Depression.
I also love.
Bill McKelly wore it better.
Bill McKelly, or it's him too that kills his own crew, right? Because you get points for hitting people, and then he does like a pit stop. And so they finish the pit stop, and they're like, "You're good to go." And he's like, "Ah!" And he just kills his own crew. There's a lot of very violent death scenes.
I'm sorry. I've got to where he wastes his pit crew. That was fucking funny.
Yeah.
That was
that's
funny.
What he's talking about. Yeah, that's good. I also really
we're off the deep end by this point.
Yeah.
Frankenstein's introduction, when they wheel out this stretcher that's with a person lying on it that's covered, and the man behind him says he was cryogenically frozen. He should come to any moment. And then he immediately just sits up.
Well, and then they shoot it like the famous Twilight Zone thing, right? Where like you see it from his point of view with the mask, so you don't know what Frankenstein actually looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this is satire. Good. And then I love the last 3 minutes where apparently Frankenstein becomes the president, and not his own name. He goes, President Frankenstein. I'm sorry to spoil it. Fuck. Anyway,
you've ruined Death Race 2000.
And we didn't talk about this at all, but the most obvious when he
when he kills the guy.
It's been built up that there's something terribly wrong with this man. He's super disfigured. And she's like, take your mask off. And he finally takes his mask off, and he's like, this was your choice, not mine. And he looks fine.
That's great.
There's nothing wrong with his face. Yeah. They didn't even attempt some like really bad makeup or anything.
That was actually an in-joke. It was the mask had the fake skin on it. The whole thing was fake. Like when he's wearing the mask, he's disfigured. When he takes the mask off, he's fine.
I do have an actual plot question that confused me a little bit.
God damn, it's the one clever thing in the whole fucking movie.
Was he... All right, I'm sorry. Was he supposed to be... You remember when they were in their third sex scene, and he was telling her that he was raised... that he was raised in a government institution.
He was a marathon, people. A marathon, yes.
Are there multiple Frankensteins? Is that what he was saying? That he's just this year's Frankenstein?
I honestly don't know.
I couldn't quite put together if he was saying, "Yeah, I was raised."
I feel like they were breeding races.
Frankenstein because they killed him so often.
I feel like they were breeding races. As such, or they were breeding them for the race.
Whenever you hear it, what movie were we talking about where you were like, whenever I hear the term master race, I usually want to turn it off. I can't remember what movie we were talking about.
I can't remember what it was, but whatever movie that was, they died like 30 seconds later, so we're good.
Again, though, I got to give it up to them. They knew what movie this was. That is ballsy to use fucking Nazism and swastikas and put it into an extreme, sincere satire.
Yeah.
Maybe not sincere.
Ballsy, ballsy and really ballsy slightly predictive. Yes.
Yeah. It's really ballsy of Fox News to advertise for them and pretend like they are. Anyway. Anything else you guys want to say about this film? I think
we covered everything.
I think it's pretty harmless. It's an hour and 19 minutes long. It starts immediately. It ends immediately. Oh, I did like the
it's
little
harmless if you
end
know that
coda.
it's offensive.
I did like the tiny little end coda where over the credits there is a voiceover that explains the history of murder and violence in humans.
Yes.
I thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay, there's a little commentary here.
Unfortunately, when you watch that on streaming, you get about halfway through it, and then it skips to the next thing that it thinks you want to watch.
I got it on YouTube. I was able to watch the whole.
Yeah, watch this on YouTube. It's better on YouTube.
Hour 19 minutes. Give it a shot. Drink a couple beers. Have some fun.
Have some fun.